Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's show. My name's Jonathan, joined today by CEO and owner of Masters, John Beast. What's up, my man?
Man, with an introduction like that, CEO, owner, man, it sounds so great. I'm just an average.
No, you're the man. To me, anyways. And I always like to go by commissioner, but that's because he lets me play commissioner. Neither here nor there. I'm going to be jumping right into today's episode. Fresh Dynasty drafts are already starting. The first one's it's in the books. We're going to be doing a review of that draft. We're looking at value picks at the quarterback position. We're going to do running back, wide
Well,
receiver.
real quick about these leagues too. These are our super early dynasty leagues, and we do run the super earlys a little bit different than we run regular dynasty leagues, and we pull the rookies out of the draft. The reason we do that, we don't know landing spots. Um, it's really tough. It's much harder to put a value on the rookie players right now. And we wait till after the NFL. We run an 18 round veterans only draft. And after the veterans only draft, we run a 2 round rookie draft in reverse order of the veterans draft.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool because you actually get two drafts for the price of one.
Yeah, people
So
seem to like it a lot. They
yeah,
really
they
do.
do. So, and I'm actually there's a link to the draft in the description. If you want to click on that, that's going to take you right to the draft report. You guys will be able to follow along, right, and see what we're looking at here too. Also, we'd love for you to give us your value picks. We both have a couple we think were great values in this dynasty draft. Would love to hear yours as well. With that said, I want to thank everybody, for watching, all the customers. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. We'd love for you to come be a part of the Masters family. With that said, let's jump right into this, John. First dynasty draft of the year. What's your first value pick?
Uh, well, my first value pick, it's actually Russell Wilson. It's actually it's if you're looking for quarterbacks, top two, a QB one, you probably want to get one by the end of the fifth round. Uh, the quarterback number eight coming off the board, quarterback number one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. It's quarterback number 10 coming off the board is Russell Wilson. He was first quarterback number one for most of the season last year. He did fall off at the end of the season, but he's always produced for you. He's still pretty young. He's 32 years old. He's had quarterback one seasons pretty much every year for the last 7, 8 years. He's also actually finished QB1
Yeah,
a couple
quarterback 10
times.
seems a little late for Russell.
Seems way late.
And I mean, I get it, it's a dynasty league, and I mean, with the next 3 to 5 years, I mean, Russell Wilson's gonna be dominant. Any concern with the possible him not being in Seattle, or it's Russell Wilson? It doesn't matter, does
It
it?
doesn't matter. The thing that I like about Russell, as much as I like about any top level fantasy quarterback, is that it doesn't really matter who he's playing with. He's going to produce, and now that he's got DK Metcalf to go with Lockett, um, I think you're actually going to see some more upside with him.
Yeah, and I
And he,
agree. I actually agree with that because I think even if you go back to Russell 5 years ago, I mean, I think this is his best class of weapons that he has
it
now.
is
Lockett and
40
Metcalf.
touchdown passes
Right.
last year, and he still put up some good rushing stats too.
Right. Yeah, no, good stuff. I like it. And actually, I'm going to go with my first quarterback here. I know it's your favorite quarterback, probably most of our favorite quarterback in the NFL. It's Patrick Mahomes. He went at 2.12. And I wanted to pick someone other than Patrick Mahomes because I didn't want to, but it's just such a steal to me. Anytime, and this isn't a super flex league. Obviously, if it was, he'd probably be the 1.1 pick. Regardless, Patrick Mahomes should never get out of the first round of a
I wouldn't
dynasty
think so.
draft. And I'm basing this. I'm looking at the 23 guys that were selected above him, and this is what I feel about those. Like maybe two or three of those guys will be fantasy relevant at all in 10 years. But in 10 years, Patrick Mahomes, just be rounding into about 35 years old. May still have 5, 6, 7 years to go at that point. 3 years in the league, two Super Bowl appearances. And then you know what I wrote? He finished first in his rookie season. He was the number one quarterback. There was a little bit of a fall off in his second year, and he finished ninth. But he missed a couple games that
Yes, he
year.
did.
If you look a little closer, points per game puts him in the top five. He was right where he should have been. Came back last year with a top three finish. That's going to be his whole career. Like,
I can't see Patrick Mahomes, and yeah, that's where they say the most value, uh, the top valued quarterback. And I want you to know, I did think Patrick Mahomes is a much better value than Russell. Even though you're better off with Patrick Mahomes at the end of the second round, or Russell in the at the end of the fifth. I'm not so sure, or at the end of the seventh for Russell, for that matter. But you know, you just can't get that kind of value because now you can just plug Patrick Mahomes in if you're starting lineup
forever,
forever
10,
for the next
15 years. Yeah, and you actually changed my thinking on that. I mean, 2 years ago when you were going to get Patrick Mahomes, I was kind of, thinking you were a little crazy. In hindsight, I wish I'd have been competing with you for a first round pick to go get Patrick Mahomes. It just locks up that position for so long. And here's the thing: the guy, a number one finish, a number three finish, a top five finish by points per game. This guy's just getting started.
That's crazy.
I mean, he has tons of weapons around him, and I am concerned that anybody that's making $500 million, it's going to be tough to keep them marquee names, at tight end, at wide receiver. I mean, you're going to have to pay to protect this guy. So I do worry about that a little bit. But one thing is that he's only going to get smarter.
The other nice thing about him is he does have a lot of rushing upside. He doesn't run that much in the beginning of the season, but come playoff time when they're angling, which is our fantasy playoff team, he is running the ball.
Right. Which if I, as an owner, like I don't want to see him running the ball.
I don't either.
Like
I want to see him run week 16.
Yeah, that's it. I was thinking about that too, like his contract, and I don't know it for sure, but I'm sure it's like he can't ride motorcycles, he can't ride jet skis, like he can't play basketball. I mean, I feel like it's probably a 10-page list of things Patrick Mahomes can't do, and I'm perfectly okay with it.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. All right, going to move on to the next one. I'll let you go, John Beach. Your second quarterback value in our first Dynasty League of the Year.
I had a pair of them, and it just seems so weird to say it, but Tom Brady and Matt Ryan were both, quarterback 15 off the board and quarterback 18 off the board, and they can both produce. I mean, they just can, and they're just for your second quarterback. Not as your first quarterback. I mean, Brady had 40 touchdown passes last year.
Yeah, crazy.
40, and I think he had 4,600 passing yards.
And no reason to think he can't do it again at least next year.
And he's got weapons.
Yeah, he sure does. And that's one thing I will say, that if you get one of these other younger quarterbacks that aren't quite established yet, maybe pick them up, with the 9th, 10th quarterback, one of these younger guys, maybe Jalen Hurts, who you're not completely sold on, but a ton of upside. Hey, 15th, 16th, grab a Tom Brady. That enables you the ability to leave Jalen Hurts on the bench for plenty of weeks, as he gets going.
Right. And it just shows you how much, these later, watching Brady, watching Breeze, watching Ben, watching Matt Ryan play late into their 30s and Brady into their 40s it just kind of makes you think that, man, maybe you shouldn't be giving up on these guys just because they turned 35. Aaron Rodgers last year was unbelievable.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes me circle back and love Patrick Mahomes even more. I mean, maybe 20 years of this guy. And you're speaking about GOATs, legends of the gridiron. Quick little shout out to my guy, Barry Sanders. I mean, my favorite running back that I've ever seen do it. Got a chance to see him a couple times in person. He was worth the price of admission every single time.
One other guy, just to throw a little shout out to at 15.12 is Jameis Winston.
Yeah, and actually, I wanted to ask you, but not to cut you off. If you look at that turn, I thought what an interesting turn that guy made. He took Jameis Winston, and then on the turn, he followed it up with Taysom Hill. And I thought, and that's late. That's extremely late in the Dynasty draft. And I'm sure he doesn't plan on keeping them both, but I thought what a really smart way to possibly lock up the quarterback there. Both of them with a ton of upside. Whoever's taking over that offense, if Drew Brees doesn't come back, probably going to be a top 12 quarterback.
This is I just noticed this stat. This is kind of a cool stat. And I think if Brees does not come back, I don't say they don't go with Jameis Winston, provided they re-sign him. But let's just say they do go with Taysom Hill, just because they did last year. I had to shock Taysom Hill.
It shocked me. Yeah.
But anyways, he had a higher pass completion percentage last year than Brees did. It was like 72%. Wow. It was crazy. And this is a stat that I just learned. He had 88 completions and 87 rushing attempts. That's it seemed kind of weird.
Yeah, and I mean, in today's, I do feel like even if Winston's the starter, he's still going to get, his wildcat plays, etc. But if he does end up being the starting quarterback, I mean, he's the perfect quarterback in today's football. You get the rushing yards, everything we like about, some of these top-tier quarterbacks, which brings me to my next one. And I know I've talked about this guy quite a bit, and I really didn't even want to for this episode. I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick a different quarterback. I'm going with Lamar Jackson at 4.6. And I have this really crazy list here that I just can't wait to get to this stat for you to hear it. And I'm just going to go off, 2 years as a starter. Obviously, in 2019, he had the number 1 finish. Last year, he finished at number 7. Kind of got, got going a little bit late in the season. So, the big knock on Lamar Jackson has been it's all about his legs. But then, in 2019, he led the league in touchdown passes. So, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, who caught all these touchdown passes? So I went to the player stats page, pulled up the top 32 wide receivers, and I start scrolling down the list. Clearly, certainly a guy that threw the most touchdown passes in the NFL, there's going to be a guy in the top 32, right? Nobody. So I'm like, so I switch it to 64, start scrolling down a little further. Got to get all the way to the number 45 wide receiver before you find a Baltimore Raven, which was Marquise Brown, who caught 7 touchdown passes. We threw like 36, 37. I know Mark Andrews, maybe had 10. So I'm like, where did all these touchdowns come from, that Lamar Jackson threw? So I'm literally scrolling. Dude, I couldn't find them. Initially, like you have to go so far down, you can't find them. So I had to go to the NFL page, search it out a little bit different. I wrote them down. I just want you guys to hear this. I think it's one of the most impressive stats I've ever heard at quarterback. I look at every single other one of these top-tier quarterbacks. I don't care which one it is. They all have a dominant weapon on that offense with them. Every single one of them.
They do.
Every single one of them. This guy, in the year that he led all quarterbacks in touchdown passes, I just want you to hear this list. Mark Andrews caught 10. Marquise Brown caught 7. Mark Ingram caught 5 touchdowns, which I found a little shocking. And then I'll throw 5 to Willie Snead, 3 to Miles Boykin. Here's 2 to Nick. I forget it. I wrote it down. Nick Boyer, is that his name?
That's it.
2 to Nick Boyer, 2 to Hayden Hurst, 2 to Seth Roberts. Oh, here, Patrick Ricard. Here's a touchdown for you two. Just guys, and it put up one of the most impressive seasons I've ever seen at the quarterback position. I truly believe in my heart that Baltimore has to do something to get this guy a number 1 receiver. And I think
it might be Marquise Brown.
Maybe.
He looked good at the end of the year last year.
He did. But I still look at him like the perfect number 2. I'd love to see him bring in a number 1. But, writing that down, those stats were just crazy to me.
I got to tell you, the one thing that I did learn, and just wrapping this up, is that if you want to probably have your quarterback by the end of the 5th round.
Yeah.
Don't wait much longer. If you wait any longer than that, you're going to be guessing.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just better off to lock up that position.
Well, and I do agree with you. I think there are some really good sleeper quarterbacks late in this draft, too.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you guys want, the links in the description down there, click on it. Take a look at the quarterbacks. Tell us who you think the best value picks at quarterback were. Maybe if one of us got it wrong or if you think we got it right. I'd love to hear that, too.
You'll put a link in right to the draft?
Yeah, right in the comment section. Click on that link. You'll be right in the draft room with us. As always, thank you so much for listening. If you could, hit that like and subscribe button. Love for you to come be a part of the Masters family. Any last words, JB?
Think that we got it all?
That's it. All right, guys, enjoy it. Until next time, Kamish out.